Welcome, friends, and today I'll be reviewing Wild Animal Racing. Now, I'm sure you must be thinking, where the hell have you been for 5.5 years? Long story short, I killed a man outside of Walmart and I haven't been able to upload since then, okay? Sue me. But anyways, enough chit-chat. Wild Animal Racing is a truly bizarre racing game created by a fellow named Paul Bird. It was released in 2016 to much critical acclaim and record-breaking sales, even getting a Game of the Year nominee but losing it all to Kirby Planet Robobot. It's easy to get lost in the hype to such a pillar of modern gaming, but today I'm going to try to separate the facts and the feelings and get down to the objective truth. Did Wild Animal Racing really deserve Game of the Year 2016? Let's find out. Your first impression when booting it up is this truly epic image of a giraffe driving head first into oncoming traffic. You may notice this Movies button in the top right as well, but unfortunately I can't show you any of these on YouTube because of just how pornographic they are. When we select single player, we're greeted by this lovely cast of characters: lion, elephant, giraffe, hippo, rhino, and zebra. I really don't give a single shit about any of them in particular, so you'll see me hopping around from character to character throughout the footage. We have 4 cups to choose from, so let's just go through each of them in order. Let's address the elephant in the room. The gameplay is absolutely terrible. There's no drift button to speak of, and it's just driving around in circles on these ludicrously tiny tracks. You finish 3 laps of one within a minute or two, and the characters often finish within like a couple milliseconds of each other. Not to mention, I just drive off the edge all the time. There's these little crystals to grab, which give you points that can only be spent on the porn in the movie shop. And you can also grab these floating question marks, which offer an array of the weirdest selection of power-ups I think I've ever seen. You have rockets and bananas, which are pretty self-explanatory, but you also get this cartoon-ass hammer and these Mad Max road spikes that just run other animals off the road. Not to mention a completely useless shield power-up, which actually just kind of slows you down. For some reason, you can only hold on to rockets and bananas for like 5 seconds before they disappear, but as a trade-off, you can literally spam the ever-loving shit out of them until they disappear. If you desperately want to win in this game, you can just drive in zigzags, spamming bananas, and the AI is so stupid they can't do anything to help themselves. They just keep driving into the bananas over and over again, and you'll gain such a massive lead that they'll never catch up. Okay, enough ranting about the game mechanics though. Let's talk about the courses. We're starting with the Roads Prix, which offers Coastal Road, a road with a beachside view that must be covered in lube the way I'm slipping and sliding around. Do you hear the song that's going on in the background? I hope you're ready to hear it for basically all the tracks in this entire game. Hold on to that basically though, we'll get to it. Next, we have a valley, which I don't really have much to say about. I kept going up the sides on accident, which is one thing, but that's mainly because my fellow racers basically have their nose in my asshole while I'm trying to drive. The final track of this Prix, and yes, there is only 3 tracks per Prix, is Iceland, just how I remember it, a giant pool of lava in the middle of an ocean. It has this insane track, which is a grungy, heavy guitar tone, playing power chords before going into a ukulele break before they just merge into one track. It's genuinely kind of awesome, so I love it. World Tour is, as the name would imply, a world tour. You visit many lovely places like Shifting Sandland, Smurf Village, and France. For some reason, Paris has its own unique music track, which sounds like this. Lovely, isn't it? Unfortunately, the only thing I have to say about these tracks is that I got stuck on a speed bump in Egypt for 40 entire seconds, and I somehow managed to finish in 4th place. Wonderful stuff. This is a collection of more fantastical tracks. We start with the aptly named Cloudland, which is so easy that it borders on baby sensory. It's something I feel like I'd catch an iPad kid playing in a crowded Applebee's on max volume. And is followed up by this insane course made out of fractals called Mystic, so revolutionary to the game that it is the only track that is self-titled off of the pre it's on. I'm not even going to say anything. Just watch this gameplay and listen to the music. The pre is finished off with Underwater. Another banger song comes on, and there's a fish drawn in Microsoft Paint that just swims around in the background. And all the times I've played it, for some reason, a third of the animals just start driving backwards during the middle of the race, and so you'll just see the zebra driving in the wrong direction in complete bliss, not a single care in the world. Before I dive into the meat and potatoes on this one, I had to reset the game to play this free because the first time I tried to, it was like driving in a pool of mud. All the animals were just stuck at the start, and part of me thought the game was just designed this way. So I tried to complete a single lap before pulling the trigger and just resetting. Other than that, it's a collection of the most boring tracks in the game. There's a pretty cool octopus in the second track, Lagoon, but the first and third tracks are about as generic of a racetrack as you can get. Well, now that we've taken a look at everything, what's the verdict? Was it snubbed at the 2016 Game Awards? I'm gonna go with absolutely not, and in fact, I have no idea what Jeff Keighley was thinking when he even nominated it. I 100%ed this game in 90 minutes, and half of that time was completing this achievement, Gold and Silver, where you and a local co-op partner have to come in first and second place. I had to walk over to my sister in real life and ask her to play it with me, which might stand as probably the saddest moment of my life thus far. Well, that's all for now, and be sure to catch me next time where I'll be reviewing Fear and Hunger.